Okay, I lost my mind when I saw this trailer during the Game Awards. Now I'm not saying this is Mass Effect 4, but what I'm saying is this is Mass Effect 4. Absolutely. Let's dive in. Alright, so first off, I want to pause it right here. Now here what they're clearly showing is the Andromeda system in the background and the Milky Way galaxy here in the foreground. And the point they're trying to make is they're leaving the Andromeda galaxy behind. It's not gone for good. They're not pretending like it didn't happen, but they're putting it on the back burner. They're not continuing that story right now because so many people had issues with it, and they're trying to renew confidence in the fans that they are going back to the Milky Way galaxy and back to the Mass Effect that they loved in the original trilogy. So let's continue on. Okay, so here we see ourselves zooming into the Milky Way. Now, they're giving us tidbits of radio signals from the history of Earth leading up to the point in the timeline where Mass Effect takes place. And then you get that tease of the Mass Effect music right there. And here, we see a bunch of wreckage, and then we finally make out that it is a Mass Effect relay. So this takes place in the Milky Way system with Mass Effect relays, so it's definitely in the future of the Mass Effect franchise. But what we see here is a destroyed Mass Effect relay, and what you'll hear after I unpause here is the sound of a Reaper. And what they're trying to tell the audience here is that this is after the Reapers have attacked, that the destruction here with the Mass Effect relay is from the Reapers, and that this story is going to take place in the future following those events. Let's continue. There we hear the Reaper. It's an obvious sign that they're moving forward in the timeline, and it's not going to be a prelude or something of that nature. Now here we see a planet. We see a ship going down to the planet. It's worth noting the planet has multiple moons, so this is not Earth. And that's important because we'll bring that up later. Let's continue. So here we see somebody climbing up a snowy mountain. But what's important to point out is I don't think it's a mountain. If you look at the shape, it looks kind of beetle-like. The bottom, you can see this kind of like gap that makes it look like it's the head of one of the smaller Reaper ships, one of the beetle-looking things. And then if you look at the right side, the cliff going up, it actually kind of looks like those beetle, the scaled beetle back of that same type of Reaper. So it looks like this person is climbing up the dead carcass of a Reaper. You can actually see like the pipes and the sort of cables from it, where the head would attach to the body, and off to the right here, if you pay attention while this person is climbing. Also, if you notice in the background, there's the unmistakable shape of a dead Reaper husk. You can see the legs. It's a silhouette, and you can barely make it out, but it is absolutely there, and it is absolutely a Reaper. Let's move forward. Now watch as she climbs. Picks up a piece of debris and wipes it off. Okay, now this is the N7 logo. This is clearly not from a ship though. This is from N7 armor. If it was a ship, the logo would be bigger, but also it's worth pointing out that the N7 armor has features that are very, very similar to the engravings and the features here on this piece of metal. So it's almost definitely certain that this is a piece of N7 armor that this person is picking up and wiping off. In the background, we can make out a Solarian on the left side, and then what appears to be a human or possibly a Drell in the middle. And then on the right side, it actually looks like it might be either a Turian or a Krogan, depending on if that's sort of like his shoulders or if that's kind of like the area near his head or behind his head for the Krogan's sake. But either way, the ship, as you'll notice when I unpause, the ship is the same ship from the concept sketches that we saw about a year ago, when we knew exactly nothing about this game. We had no idea where it was going. So this is definitely still the plan, the continuation of whatever plans they had already been working on. This isn't something completely new. Let's move forward. All right, now what you can see here, which is really, really interesting, let me move back just a tiny bit. This is clearly Liara. This is clearly her markings and her facial structure. It's not even a question, to be completely honest. Some people weren't sure at first. It was definitely an Asari, but I don't know. It might be Liara, it might not. If you really scrutinize the details and compare it to her character model, it is absolutely Liara, 100%. But what's interesting to note about this Liara is she has wrinkles next to her eye, and she's got some wrinkles on her cheek. Now, Asaris age much slower than humans, so it's worth pointing out that if she's got wrinkles on her face, that means she's entered the matriarch phase of her life, and that means that this is set hundreds of years after the events of the Mass Effect Trilogy. Let's continue on. There it is. Mass Effect will continue. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm incredibly excited about this. This is definitely Mass Effect 4. It's a soft confirmation that this is Mass Effect 4 and that this is going to be a sequel to the trilogy that we all really loved. In fact, it even looks like in the end logo that splashes up on there, it really looks like they kind of wanted to put 4, and maybe at the last minute they just got cold feet and took it out so that they could have some wiggle room in case something goes wrong and they can go. They want to go back on it. The way that it said will continue, so small, the alignment, I don't know, something about the imagery just looked a little off, and it looked like it was maybe a last minute replacement. But this is definitely a soft confirmation of Mass Effect 4. It's very obviously a new game chronologically after the Reaper invasion in the Milky Way galaxy where the Reaper invasion happened, and absolutely Liara is going to be in it. And it's really interesting. It's following up on what happened. It's either the Destroy ending is canon, the Reapers are destroyed, and this is hundreds of years later with Liara kind of picking over the remnants. Maybe she's searching for Shepard, or she's searching for something, and just comes across a sense of an armor, and it reminds her of Shepard, at the very least. At most, she could be searching for Shepard. What's interesting to note about that is Shepard supposedly died on Earth in the Reaper invasion, in the Destroy ending. But there is a secret little end snippet where you hear Shepard breathe in at the very end. And it's supposed to tease that maybe Shepard survived in the Destroy ending. So it's possible Shepard's alive. And if that's the case, maybe she's looking for Shepard on another planet because Shepard escaped or was held prisoner by a Reaper that then went down elsewhere. I find that kind of unlikely. What would be interesting, and which really goes back to something that I believed years ago and no one else really believed alongside me, is the idea of the indoctrination theory ending. Now the theory goes like this. In the final moments of the game, Shepard is indoctrinated. The entire time you're playing through Mass Effect 3, there's a lot of hints that Shepard has been becoming indoctrinated because of his contact with Reapers and Reaper artifacts. And that it's a slow indoctrination. And the idea is the entire ending of that game is just in Shepard's head, and it's really him trying to fight for control over the indoctrination. and whether or not you give in. So those final choices are whether or not you're giving in to the indoctrination. And if this happens, then Mass Effect doesn't really end as we know it. We don't really see what truly happens at the end of the trilogy if the entire ending that we did see is just in Shepard's head. So it's possible that Shepard was on a Reaper somewhere, went down on a different planet, and now Liara is looking for him. Hard to say. The thing we can say for sure is that it's definitely not Earth that she's on. Definitely seems like she picks up a piece of Shepard's armor, even though it could be any N7 armor. And it definitely points to a new game with Liara in the continuity of the original trilogy in the future, and not a prequel. So all of that's extremely exciting. A lot of people had issues with Andromeda, and I think the one way BioWare could get back all of the fans' trusts and really get them to at least give Mass Effect another chance, because a lot of the fans just won't even give it another chance at this point. If they really wanted to pull them in and sucker them into giving them another chance, Mass Effect 4, straight up. Boom. So obvious. It is a sequel to the trilogy. It's going back to the Mass Effect that you love, and it's not even recognizing Andromeda. It's bold. And I think that's where we're going. Anyway, give this video a like, subscribe, comment. I'd really like to hear your theories about what this could mean, and about what some of this imagery might hint at. So leave me a comment down below, let me know, and we'll see you next time.